Alright, once again, back. Monday, August 29th, 2022. It's almost like we get into 2023 that quick. The year has gone by fast. What do you mean it has? It's been an interesting year. I see that. Got midterm season coming up. A lot of other things coming up. It's almost like it's back to normal. So you think, but it's not. I do think things are going to get a little bit very telling in the next few months, I'll say. Very telling. I think we're going to have some social unrest. What's going on, brother? Um, the clown show is not over. Actually, it's just beginning. I think tonight we're going to have Shaq and Judge around, maybe. Um, Said he might come on. But Shaq and me got to talk about this Wheel of Fortune. Um, and so forth and the like. So, you know, the Wheel of Fortune is an interesting process. What you spend, what you buy, what you do, how you act, it all goes, it all fits one and one together. So it's a very interesting phenomenon. Um, how can I put the Wheel of Fortune? It's kind of like we feed into industry, we help the beast, we keep feeding the beast. I mean, sometimes you're gonna have to like suffice a little bit, but you gotta feed the beast. You can't keep feeding the beast in um, every single how can I put it situation. And I'm pretty much sure that's what we're doing. I don't understand why we do it that way. It's part of life, I guess, right? But you just got to beat the Wheel of Fortune. Um, you know, you don't like what's going on, don't buy it. Don't nobody make you buy the product on the shelf. Um, don't buy them, you just be real. Stop being fake. Things. You beautiful in your own skin, own hair, own eyes, and all that. And we put up a lot of imaginary barriers in life. Like, I mean, I just lived down the street and I just found out that they got the shooting in a funeral service at the church. Like, why is so much animosity? You got to shoot somebody in a funeral service. You know what I'm saying? It's right down the street. Probably about 2-3 minutes. I can just pull out of my townhouse complex and go down the street. There you go. So it is what it is. Um, it's kind of like you can't win all these battles, you know. There's no way you can win them all. You're right, brother. Where is the love? But they said, ain't no love in the city. That's a song by Jay-Z. Bro. Ain't no love in the city, right? Um, but there's not much love anywhere. People become narcissistic, self-serving, and also um, very vain. As a matter of fact, if you're talking about vain, and I'm not even a person that really reads scriptures on my thing, you know, I'm not really that type. No, like this is not I would say, a religious podcast or whatever, but I'm gonna bring it up. People will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient parents, ungrateful, and unholy. And for men, will be lovers of self, lovers of money, boasters, proud, verbally abusive, disobedient to parents, ungrateful, and unholy. So, um, it is what it is. It is what it is, and it is what's not. I mean, but that's just scripture. So, it is what it is. What can you do about it? Can you stop it? No. Yo, where you at?
I set this laptop up.
Oh, I thought you was coming on the phone.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Send it to that 972 number.
I got you. All right. I'm a guest coming on in a minute. Yeah, what you say? Saying a lot. Hey, man. It's a lot to say every day, isn't it, brother? All I can say is, hey, man, if you don't have a lot to say these days, you ain't living. If you're bored, that's on you. The party just getting started. You know what? I never understood why humans say they bored. With all this stuff to do out here. It means you're not expanding your mind to the possibilities of life. You know, they had the VMAs there last night. I didn't even take a look. You know, they saying Lizzo said something in the VMAs or whatever. I mean, who cares, man? You know, right? But I got to bring it up. And I will bring it up very shortly. But the guy said something about the LGBTQ community needs more representation. So I'm like, why do y'all need more movies for? So you can peddle that stuff on more? I mean, what's going on, man? What's really, really going on? Like, can you help me understand? I don't get it, right? People watch the VMAs, the Oscars, the Grammys, this, that, and these things. These things are just self-serving. It's like everybody wants to live in this fantasy bubble. You know, it's like a bubble. Like, oh, remember when they played in the NBA and they played in the bubble where that's what it means to people's mind. It's an imaginary bubble. And they don't have no way to get out of it. So, if you can't get in the bubble, you'll be stuck in the bubble, right? And the bubble's like this. So, but that's just the way it is. I'm not really sure about these people. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we've been walking around zombies for a long time. I've been walking around zombies for quite some time. I'm just saying, like, hey, can we not walk around and look like we done lost our mind all the time? I just told you about the shooting at the church down the street. You know, immigrants taking over New York City. you know, black folks moving on the street, and I don't have to take a look at that. Thank you for that thing, Monel. When I get off here, I gotta send you something. Send a couple of people other stuff. Share it on. Just gotta report that microchips were in the poisonous serum or the intervention, as Moderna says. They say that they're suing Pfizer for copying patent rights on their interventions. But microchips have been confirmed in that, so it is what it is. You know what? I'm gonna be dead honest with you. I really hate being right a lot. And guys say, why do you hate being right? I said, because if I'm right 100%, that means a lot of people are gonna die. That's what that means. Also, I want to give a shout out to a lady who's struggling with her health, Miss L.A. Kaiser. She's going through some things with her health as a result of that. I'm sure the media won't tell you, but I'm going to say it about it. She's been dealing with some things with her own health, so I'm just saying that I hope she gets better. Had a difficult conversation with her last week, but it was fine. We got through it. We talked about it. I'm just putting that out there. So, LA, if you're listening, just keep up the hard work. We'll get through it. But my research 2 years ago has come right now. The CDC is even saying it. Oh, Fauci's stepping down, isn't he? It's interesting. However, the person they put in there can be worse. Watch right there. We got a mayor in D.C. She's nutting up saying, well, you can't come to school unless you done had the intervention. Well, homeschool then. Oh, she don't want you to do virtual neither. I'm sorry. You know, sometimes you gotta wonder about these black mayors, man. Are they really that bad off? Or are they just walking, talking puppets? I think they walking, talking puppets. So, and a puppet only does what's on the string. Ding, 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 ding. Pinocchio on the string, ding, 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 on the rose of life. So on the rose of life, that's what it is. But are they playing chess though? They might be playing backgammon. Doesn't seem like they're playing chess. Chess players are smarter than these guys, don't you think? Yeah, they're smarter than that. Yeah, chess players are smarter than that. But I don't know what's taking Shaq so long. Maybe he's going. Let's see. Gotta put some on here. Sorry, guys, I had to pull this up. All right. This is the church I was talking about. Right here.
We want to get to a crime alert out of Chesterfield now, where gunshots went off during a funeral. This all happened at the New Life Outreach International Church yesterday afternoon. Off-duty police officers say they were in the parking lot waiting to help with the funeral escort when they heard shots. The building was immediately cleared by police, and thankfully, we can tell you no one was hurt. The pastor says the church had allowed a group from outside the community to use the facility for the service.
They were not from Chesterfield County. They were not from this area at all. They actually are not members of our church at all. But a fight broke out in the lobby, and then somebody did shoot into the air.
Pastor Rivera says she's thankful for Chesterfield police, adding that they came in and provided security at the building in an effort to make the community feel safe.
Yeah, I heard about that, Bishop. Facebook censors GOP over Biden's $300 student loan debt plan. Yeah, I heard about that. It's kind of funny. This church is right down the street from me. Yeah, this church also had a Pray for Ukraine sign up about 5 months ago. When the Ukraine stuff, they had a sign in the parking lot called "Pray for Ukraine." They called it the New Life Church or something. What's going on, Shaq? You hear me? Hello? Yo. Are you good? I can hear you. I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Well, he chooses me himself, but yeah, let's talk about that. What are your thoughts on this church thing? This kind of weird. I say they know, they ain't know. I mean, like, this is about to get wild. Okay, okay.
Peace.
Yo, what's going on, man?
I'm in there now, man. I had to do some. I always got to do some tweaking with this stuff, man. I have bad luck with electronics, man. These devices. What's good though?
I was just talking about that thing that I told you about where they got the shooting in the church.
Hey, McGinn?
No, I told you about down here. This is like they got a shooting at the funeral church. They got in a fight,
Mm-hmm.
and they got this.
Breaking up. Somebody play. It was early.
Now I can hear.
Yeah, you can just break it up a little bit.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, wow.
I'm good. Let's go. Let's ride.
Okay, can you hear me?
You may continue. Yeah, you may continue. I can hear you.
Copyright section 1976. This is used for fair. This is criticism, teaching, news reporting, and this is no right to infringe. Yesterday, outage of the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program was reported across the country. We already know this is EBT. What are your thoughts on this?
This is a perfect example of how things can go wrong when you go too digital to electric. When you lean, like I keep saying, when you lean too far to the left or to the right, you off balance, right? So we know, yes, the internet technology, as we know it, is definitely a convenience, right, for us. But we also know that you need backup. So I would say don't invest all your eggs in one basket because you can have outages. What if the internet go down? We have a mass surge or an EMP hit, electrical magnetic pulse hit, and take down all these towers and internet access. Everybody got their money on digital money right now on the internet, debit cards or an app, right? Electronic app or some device technology that you got. It's a prime example. If they go down, people will be crippled, massively crippled. So what is the backup? What is a as Neely Fuller would say, what is a constructive, what are constructive results that we can get out of this?
I don't know. It's very interesting, though, don't you think?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it could be a sign of things to come, multiple things to come down the pipe later.
Okay.
Sooner than later.
Facebook.
You know
now, let me say something. So you've been talking a lot about this Wheel of Fortune. What is the Wheel of Fortune? This part of it right here. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Chak.
What about now? Is it better?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. I say it's pretty much a well-oiled machine. It operates and runs like a well-oiled machine.
Right here too. This part of it right here.
Yeah, all of this part of it. It's called the Wheel of Fortune for a reason. We own the wheel spinning, right? It's spinning and churning out. The fortune is coming out of our labor. Everything that we put into and focus on spiritually, mentally, physically, psychologically, everything that we put energy into, we not reaping the benefit, the majority benefit of the labor, sweat, tears, and whatever that we put in. There's someone, some entity, something is getting is benefiting off the Wheel of Fortune. Everything is tied into the Wheel of Fortune. Anything from the credit system, the institutions, that can go from education, schooling, on up into the penal system, prison system, the court system, everything, every industry they can imagine. vital system, where you get your birth certificate, Social Security number, all that stuff is on the wheel of fortune. Like even with this, the pharmaceutical industry, and I know that's another one about talking about them, but they are the head players of the wheel of fortune. They own the wheel of fortune too.
On TV, Chak.
But that's what I'm saying. Commercials, everything we see and everything we ingest is all wrapped up in the wheel of fortune. Everything when we consume, the food we buy, the commercials we see, the advertising we see for food products, movies, it's a wheel of fortune. And we definitely ain't benefiting off of it. But we hard workers, we the worker bees of the working and keeping the wheel spinning. We keeping the wheel churning. And somebody is profiting off of us churning the wheel. I mean, everything that's being created, these laws that they create, they ain't even laws, actually. They are what? Ordinance, rules, statutes, what's another word for them? Orders. They're not laws, they orders. And we up under the order of who and what. And when did this order come down? By who and what? The when and the where. See, it's been in our face all along. They gave it to us in video games, the Wheel of Fortune. They gave it to us in board games. You got these are examples of the Wheel of Fortune that we actually play. You got what? You got the actual game called Wheel of Fortune. It's a game show. You got the board games called what? Tic-tac-toe. You got Connect Four. You got chess. You got checkers. You got the game of life. You played that board game Life. Name some more. All that is tied up into this Wheel of Fortune that we don't benefit from. You know what I mean? I mean, the award shows, everything, entertainment is tied up in it, all it heavy tied up into the Wheel of Fortune. The way they create these so-called, let's go back to the laws and stuff, like they get ready to hire 87,000 IRS agents and over 100-something thousand so-called law enforcement. Where they're gonna be located at, where is the target gonna be at? Who knows? Only the orchestra, only the oracles know that. The matriarchies, allegories, all they know that. They know where they're gonna the targets, who they're gonna be targeting with those. Man, that's a new what? That's a new ball player. That's a new stream of revenue on the Wheel of Fortune, right? Who gonna be hired in these positions? Who these positions are going to mainly affect? Immigration, mass immigration, migration, all that is on the Wheel of Fortune. Because they bringing them in, they bring some of them in. Some of them are bringing they bring them in for cheap labor. Some of them they bring them in for reinforcements for whatever other agendas they got coming down the pike. All that is on the Wheel of Fortune, man. Peep this. This how deep it go. Everything that you consume was on the Wheel of Fortune. Like it transformed into something, another stream of revenue for not you and not us, not the people per se. The Republic, not the Republicans, not the Democrats, the Republic. We, the body of this so-called country, and if you take it farther than the country and make it expand it all the way out to the planet, we are the Republic of the planet. We are the people of the planet, indigenous to wherever landmass that you are indigenous to. You know what I mean? Whenever life started. Whenever this entity came in and interjected itself, because I don't know if it's him or her. We don't know. If it's a body snatcher, I mean, we got this a major player. We got the sex trafficking. We got the body harvesting. That's a part of the Wheel of Fortune. We got the abortion. Well, all of a sudden, people now was pushing for a heavy abortion now. Now we got that. That's a wheel of fortune because we don't know what churns out with the abortion. We don't know. Well, we do know what churns out. We do know what churns out with sex trafficking, body harvesting and all that stuff. That's a part of the wheel of fortune. Somebody got to get the heart. Somebody got to get that liver. Somebody got to get that kidney. 9 out of 10, it ain't gonna be me and you, Bernard. You know what I mean? These are all tools, and this is say olive branch. This say, there you go, wheel of fortune. Now, where does melanin come from? And what is melanin? Is it melanin? Is it copper? Is it carbon? I don't know. We know it is melanin, whatever that is. But that's definitely a gold rush for that. We keep talking about the gold rush. What was the gold rush? Was the gold rush the people? Or was it actually the gold? That's deep, because guess what? You still need people to what? To mine the goddamn gold, to get any resources out of this planet. Don't let nobody fool y'all. Any resources that can be mined, extracted, and transformed into has to come from a human being. It's a fact. The first stage has to come from a human being. Even if you say, oh, they got, well, who builds the machines? Who builds the computer? The human being, per se. Because some people say that you may have some reptilians on this planet. There's some other beings that may be doing some, unhuman-like things. That can be left up to another, another show, another deep dive into that with people that's got a higher. That's out of my spiritual. That's out of my spiritual pay grade there, but I, What you think? What you think about the Wheel of Fortune?
Hello, everyone. It is Monday, and this is.
I'm about to ask you, is this part of the Wheel of Fortune? What I'm about to pull up. What's going on, Stice?
Oh, my boy Stice in the building. What's up? Peace, brother.
This is Outnumbered. I'm Kaylee McEnany, and joining me today, Rachel Campos-Stuffy, Tammy Bruce, Molly Hemingway, and Todd Pyro. New accusations and explosive charges are flying over the Biden border crisis. Yes, the border is still on fire. And today, at least 3 more buses filled with migrants from Texas just pulled in right here to New York City.
So far, Texas
has sent more than
1,800 illegal immigrants to New York on over 35 buses. And that sanctuary city is now struggling to find housing for them. Meanwhile, the war of words heats up between Texas Governor Abbott and New York City Mayor Adams. Adams' team is slamming Texas for using wristbands with barcodes, which Adams' others people in New York are saying is used to track the illegal immigrants, but the Texas governor saying not so. In fact, he's ripping it as fear-mongering. And a guest on MSNBC is now ratcheting things up even more, calling those who support busing migrants. Guess what they picked? They called it racist. Just like segregation. Watch this.
What do you think about that?
I mean, the conservative estimate is about $80,000 per bus trip. But we know that racists don't mind paying money. We saw this, our parents and grandparents' generation, when schools were, forced to integrate, and they refused. So they would ship, African Americans to other states to attend college because they didn't want to integrate schools in South Carolina or Virginia or Georgia. So racists, are willing to pay the money, and they don't care if taxpayers pay the rent.
Todd, you'd think they'd come up with something new, but racist is always the word.
Yeah, going back to the playbook. And how is it racist to take sanctuary cities up on their offer to be sanctuary cities? And was it racist when, I don't know, Joe Biden flew people from the border to Westchester? Westchester, as you all know, is like 20 minutes away. It's not that far away. What's the difference? I don't see the difference.
No, there isn't a difference. Rachel, another false allegation they're leveling is that the Texas governor is forcing people to sign NDAs. In fact, that's not true. They say migrants boarding these buses are not signing NDAs. Here's the form they are signing.
What do you think, man? What do you think? Chak.
Wheel of Fortune, baby. You know what it is. Hey, who benefiting? You got to look at who benefiting. Huh?
Who benefiting?
That's what you got. Hey.
I didn't even know who benefiting on this one. I know we might not be benefiting, but somebody benefiting a lot. Just trying to find out. I didn't ask for all these migrants, did you?
Who's it? That's Bishop down there. Is that Bishop? G. Who's that?
Yeah, Bishop.
Let's say G. Williams. That's him. G.
Yeah,
Williams. G. Williams. Oh, okay. What up, Bishop? But yeah, that Wheel of Fortune, man, goes deep. It runs deep, man. Like, I mean, even the school system. Let's go talk about the school system or the institution. We call it. I call it an institution because all this stuff is built off military science. All this stuff ain't no perhaps. This is calculated.
Wait a minute, brother. Joe Biden just said that on Thursday he would deliver a speech about the soul of the nation. He said we must stop those extremist MAGA Republicans. He said your freedoms and liberty are taken. Daggone, we cannot let our freedoms be taken. But to me, doesn't it seem like they're the ones that's pushing freedom?
I don't know, man. How that freedom gonna be taken when he's the commander in chief? He's the damn he's the head of the damn, what branch he head of? I can't even remember.
The executive branch.
Executive branch. You got, man, come on, dude. Stop. See, we gotta stop letting them play these games and these word salads on people, play on your emotions and your heartstrings because, dude, you in charge. Nigga, y'all done sent all this $1 trillion. Who the hell are you scared of? What puny person, me and Bernard, Bishop, Jack Stice, Alicia Lockhart, what puny person can take down this goddamn government? Black, definitely black. What army do we have? And what's the word I'm looking for? Sophisticated technology. Armory.
Is here to guide you through your journey. We give you choices over.
Hold tight, brother. Look this up. We don't have. Okay.
I mean, even we talk about that. What's it? Those people they raided a couple weeks ago. Uru,
yeah.
In St. Louis, Missouri.
One time.
I mean,
I want you to hear this. Right? I want you to hear this.
Okay.
Copyright Act of 1976. This is not meant to infringe news reporting purposes, commentary only. All right, check this out. I want you to hear this now. Because this is where the real subject is. This for parents in D.C., all right? Just bringing it up. Wheel of Fortune. Just remember this is Wheel of Fortune too.
Today is Washington, D.C.'s first day of school for children. We previously told you about a mandate that would have kept any student who wasn't vaccinated from attending. But yesterday, Deputy Mayor for Education, Paul Kine, announced that the vaccine mandate will be pushed back until January 2023. DC Mayor Muriel Bowser faced major backlash over the vaccine policy. According to associate editor at Reason Magazine, Liz Wolf, more than 40% of Black teens in the city would have been kept from attending school. In addition to proof of vaccination, students of all ages are required to provide a negative COVID test before stepping foot into the classroom for their first day.
A statement by Mayor Bowser said on the issue, in part, we're not offering remote learning for children, and families will need to comply with what is necessary to come to school. It's a move that prompted the NAACP to get involved.
The numbers are pretty striking. The Washington Post reports 87% of white children 12 to 15 have been vaccinated, while just 53% of black children. Are you planning to sue or take some other measure to try to stop this mandate?
Not at all. We are not looking at any legal action, but we are, as you know, the NAACP is the nation's oldest and largest civil rights organization that for over 112 years has been a fierce advocate to ensure that Black lives are valued, safe, healthy, and whole. And the challenge within this mandate is to balance both public health and educational equity. So ensuring that we are that voice to fight for educational options for all students, but particularly because these numbers show that the unvaccinated population is particularly disproportionately impacting our Black students, we must fight for quality alternatives to ensure that no students are left behind.
My colleague, Liz Wolf, joins us now to unpack all this. Thanks for being with us, Liz.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so they at the last minute delayed enforcement of the vaccine mandate.
All right. I got something to say right there about that. One time she said it was 100%, then she said it was 87% of white students. But the NAACP, you heard her say, we're not going to pursue no illegal action. We just a civil rights organization. We won't make it. Why you ain't pursuing no legal action? Huh?
Why not? Come on, man. See, that's the point.
You said I'm not going to pursue no legal action.
We got to go through, man.
Yeah,
this is the BS we have to go through. You got motherfuckers pretending. You got people out here pump faking. These motherfuckers pump fake more than goddamn Tom Brady. They need to shit. Damn.
You said I'm not gonna pursue no legal action.
I know this football thing.
We just want to have a talk.
We want
to have a talk about it.
Huh?
She said we just want to have a talk about it and let you know that we large. That telling me you're a civil rights organization mean nothing to me.
Now hold on. Now the mayor is the one to put this stuff out, right? To put this stuff in motion, right?
Yeah.
Or, okay. So the mayor, is that a selected position or elected?
Elected
position. Elected. So who elects the mayor?
The citizens.
Okay. So that means the citizens have power to say what? Hey, you are in subordination with the direct the demands and commands of the people of this whatever, blah, 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 state, city, or whatever. As of blah, 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 you haven't blah, blah, blah. Therefore, we are what? We are asking for your resignation. Right?
Mm-hmm.
See, these are things we can do if we the people. If it's an elected position, we the people have to stand up and say, hey, you know what? You're not doing with the people. You're not doing the best interest for the people that elected you. So the people that elected these people in positions of government, local or whatever, local government, local politics and stuff, you have to hold their feet to the fire, whether that's your federal party candidate, a party member, you know, Democrat, Republican Party member, or conservative or a liberal party member. You have to hold their feet to the fire when things are getting out of hand. This is getting into a tyrannical situations where you are forcing things that's unconstitutional. You're not forcing, but you are, let's say, coercing and bully tactics.
Let's listen to a little bit more. They say, okay? See what they saying.
Yeah.
Until January, which I always find funny when they change it at the very last minute. Like what was the family situation for families and parents? Like, okay, well, my kid's not going to school. At the very last minute, they maybe find out that actually your kid can go to school, so they send him to school. Probably a lot of those people, it's too late. They're not going to school anyway because bad public education about this issue, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's such an interesting political topic, right? Because Fox News and the NAACP are on the same side, right? Which isn't to say that never happens, but I think it goes to show that you could have a principled objection to vaccine mandates of this sort, and also be concerned about the racially disparate impact that these things end up having, which is something that so many progressives claim to care about. Muriel Bowser's own administration has claimed to care about this, and yet still felt comfortable imposing this from on high. It's worth noting, with public schools, we've long had vaccine mandates in place. We expect public school children in this country to be vaccinated against measles. We expect them to be vaccinated against polio. But it's worth considering, does COVID rise to that level? We see vaccines being highly protective against death and severe illness, but not against actually contracting infections. We see tons and tons of breakthrough infections. And so if the goal is ensuring that there's not an outbreak that's disruptive to school, I think it's a little bit of an open question as to whether vaccination actually achieves that. So I think there should be a very, very high burden of proof and of efficacy that we impose. I think we should be as sparing as possible with the mandates that we're going to pass down for public school children. And yet, for some reason, Bowser hasn't, felt comfortable doing that. She's decided to be sort of a culture warrior about this.
You often can't get, these days, you can't get progressives to care about a policy issue unless you frame it in terms of racial inequity. Like that is the lens through which so many progressives and Democrats approach all policy questions. I mean, the ACLU has to, when it's discussing abortion, has to say, how this will affect the LGBTQ community, because that's just what progressive circles do now. So thus, you would think, you might expect an actual racially disproportionate impact from this policy would be something of great interest to the ACLU. And even though they were, on the same page as Fox, the NAACP there, it was interesting they said, no, we're definitely not going to sue. What is this deference to a public health policy that I don't think you can even justify really on public health grounds anymore, that they're not, we're not going to sue over it. Would that be, in any other situation, would they not sue over something that had a racial inequity component?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, and it just points to the degree to which this is a very tribal, very partisan issue. But I do also think we need to, as libertarians who cover this type of thing frequently, we need to go back to the fundamental thing, which is what's the enforcement mechanism for this? Basically, these kids could become truants if they're unable to attend school because they're unvaccinated. That means then the city can go after them for truancy-related issues. Okay, well, at Reason, we've long covered all kinds of situations where child welfare service and social services agencies intervene and start surveilling parents, and in some cases even go so far as to trot those parents into court or levying fines, or even in very rare cases subjecting them to jail time or putting them on offender registries for child abuse and neglect. I mean, we saw a case recently in New Jersey where a mom who'd left her kids in the car for to run a quick errand, to go into a store to, I think, grab some sort of dessert for after dinner.
You hear me? Uh-oh.
No, I was on mute.
Oh, okay. No, I said that you see what she just said. That's another system, another racket that they rake up, and it's always, I hate to say it, and I'm gonna say I want to challenge everybody to listen to this broadcast tonight to do me a favor. Please do some homework, because it just come to me. I've heard it. I've thought about it before, and I'm trying to trace the timeline from whenever the Democrats come in the House and take over the White House. When they in office, the Democrat administrations, that they always bring in a lot of strife, and they bring in a lot of what? Bills. They sign a lot of bills that what? Dramatically affect who?
Us.
Negatively. So-called black, melanated, so-called American indigenous, black Indians, indigenous people that's on this land, that's been on this land, the so-called sons and daughters of the so-called slaves, ancestors of the slaves, so-called, on this North American landmass. Why are we always negatively affected when Democrats get in? And they're supposed to be the friendlies. They're supposed to be the libertarians. Why are we criminalized? Why are we always criminalized when Democrats are always in office? It seems like that. Now, I'm pretty sure there's times when Republicans in there and they was, as I'm not trying to lift the Republicans, no, but I'm just saying, a lot of so-called black folks in this country vote Democrat unconsciously, right? So why would this administration champion this? Huh? Well, consciously, without any contest.
They might be dead, but they might want the food stamps or the benefits.
Yeah, but they still cheating and shaving the points off that because they ain't giving you all the full benefits on that. They still cut them on you.
They might support the right to choose.
And not every person that apply for them get them, whether you white, black, or whatever. You don't get them. You need to listen to some of these stories of people that you would think that would be getting, single mothers that ain't working full-time jobs, that they don't.
Bill Clinton was cutting way.
They don't qualify for a lot of benefits. It's a lot of black folks that don't qualify a lot of benefits, and they ain't got no lot of money. They ain't working no. They got no big incomes. I just do believe that this system is set up to only let a certain amount of people get whatever they want the people to have and get. You know what I mean? Do we have the right to all this stuff? Supposedly, constitutionally, we supposedly. But what does that mean, Bernard? Does that mean that the people that's so-called in power, the ones that regulate laws, the ones that's supposed to protect the Constitution, the ones that's supposed to issue out fairness and righteousness, we don't always see that. We don't always see that from our lens. You know what I mean? Yes, you got a right to do all this. Yes, you got a right to this. But if the person that's in control, that's so-called in power, they can still restrict you. Who's governing your rights?
All right.
You know what I mean?
Let me finish this out. Exactly. You're right. Who governing? Nobody. We are.
She left her 3-year-old and her 5-year-old in the car, and she ended up terribly surveilled by the state for years to come because of this. Robbie, you recently covered that Arizona case where a mom had left her kids in a playground in a park near an acquaintance who was teaching an outdoor class to run into a grocery store to get a turkey. And by the time she came out of the grocery store, the cops had started questioning her, and now she's barred from working with children in the state of Arizona. It's despicable, and we need to have a really high standard for when we involve child services and child protective agencies.
In fact, a D.C. judge has also ruled that the mayor's 2021 city employee mandate is unlawful, per your remarks, Liz. That mandate required all employees to provide proof of vaccination in order to work in the district. According to WUSA 9 in court documents, Superior Judge Morris Ross said that the mayor, quote, lacked the authority to impose the vaccine mandate through emergency executive order. So it does seem like the tide is turning at some level, and yet when it comes to the most vulnerable, one of the most important things, which is keeping Black kids in school so they can get a good education and have access to the American dream, Mayor Bowser's on the wrong side of this.
Oh, absolutely. And I think we're seeing this really interesting dynamic where sometimes the richest residents in some cities, they're pushing back against this, but it's a good thing they are, because I think that actually ends up helping poor minority students who would otherwise get in trouble possibly for truancy. We saw this happening in LA when LA sort of public health head honcho Barbara Farrar was trying to impose a mask mandate because LA's case counts were rising this summer. And a bunch of residents of Beverly Hills said, nope, we're not going to be enforcing that. You can do what you want, but we, the fine people of Beverly Hills, will not, in fact, be adhering to that. And I think there's a really interesting situation right now that we're seeing where these public health authorities have gotten used to exercising their powers
But 30 months into this pandemic, a whole bunch of people are saying no. And I think it's really good for people in all positions to basically defy, because I think that ends up helping those Black students who really do need to be in school, who would otherwise get in trouble for truancy and have their parents sent to court and harassed by the state or harassed by the city.
It's interesting too. Mayor Bowser, when she was asked about this issue at a press conference, I think the last week or the week before, by Doug Blair, who's a friend of mine who works at the Heritage Foundation, and she was like, well, I don't know about those numbers. I mean, the numbers that are reported by the Washington Post, you'd think there'd be a lot of, jumping down her throat about misinformation, about, impugning the media's good judgment or something. But alas, no, I haven't seen a lot of criticism except from, very right-wing people.
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is, it's a blessing that COVID isn't super deadly for kids. We have 70 million children in this country. We've had significantly fewer than 2,000 deaths in kids. We're getting better and better at treating kids. Even though I don't think Paxlovid is technically approved for like the youngest demographic, I know they're running a bunch of clinical trials to sort of study and see how effective it is. We're getting so much better at fighting this thing. Obviously, if you are concerned about your kids getting sick and dying, you should.
Wait a minute, she said clinical trials. She said clinical trials.
Man, like I said, man, these people steady pump faking, man. What is this? Is this a joke, man? Because like I said, these are the children, man. These are our future damn generations, and this is how we handle them. We handle them like no disrespect to anybody that's older, but we handle them like people that's bombs on the street, and just do them and toss them any kind of way, like tattered clothes. They toss our children around, toss these young people around like tattered clothes, man. They have no best interest for these children, dog. No best interest. They treat animals semi better than they treat the goddamn youth. That's a damn shame. That's a damn shame.
That's true.
No nutrition in it. Yeah, we pay enough damn money in taxes for them to be nutrition chefs on the goddamn on every damn school campus. It's 730 some goddamn billionaires. That ain't counting the goddamn millionaires. Why the hell our children, the youth, can't have sufficient nutrition, health care, free college? Why our children got to pay for college? We supposedly middle class to low income. Why the hell do our children have to pay for college when we already paying tax? We done had generations and generations that have paid into the tax system. They got trusts and shit took out on every social security number damn near in this goddamn country.
All right, hold on, Chak. 1 minute. Frank is in the room, so I didn't speak.
Well, what up,
Peace.
y'all? What's going on, peace, y'all? You know what I'm saying? What's good, man? You know what I'm saying?
What's going on in your neck of the woods, bro?
Man, just the same old, man. Just trying to, you know what I'm saying? Stay stress free, cycle free.
You can't handle gas cars out there in about 2035.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying, man. I was thinking that too, because I'm in the process of getting another car right now, and it's just like I don't see. I'm just like, damn, well, I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta get something and get the hell up out of here, man, because how you gonna regulate? You know what I'm saying? What kind of car I got? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Wheel of Fortune, friend.
That's what I'm saying. Everything's all about control with these people, but see, that it makes sense. It's all about controlling the corporation. You see what I'm saying? That's what a corporation's about. You feel what I'm saying? It's terms and conditions to the contract, and that's all. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of contracts and things, under contracts and certain things like that in this corporation. You see what I'm saying? So it makes sense. It makes perfect sense if you really think about it, man. I mean, it doesn't make sense how they do us like that, but it makes sense on how they would do us like that. You see, and they come up to that conclusion to do us like that because we run in the hamster wheel and we're insane because we do insane things on a daily basis, such as, you see what I'm saying? March and pray and vote and thinking voting and everything like that's the issue and the solution. We do that every day, man. We talk about white supremacy, this and that. We talk about all these theories and stuff like that. And we don't even know these things are theories. But it's crazy, man. It's just like that's what I mean by the insanity. You see what I'm saying? So if we practice that so much, these preachers and these pastors, they could get over us, and they could become millionaires, and they could talk about this ending gas cars by a certain year. So you're gonna give us, and look how this looks. The number 13 comes up when you think of the year. You know what I'm saying? 2035. So it's a really crazy thing that they just letting you know that who's behind what and what's behind what, man. 13 years they want to try to take away these gas cars out here, and that's.
All right, Chak, hold on. There you go. Singer Lizzo made a political statement at the Lizzo when she pleaded for fans to vote and make change the laws that oppress her. She accepted the Video for Good award. I mean everything to make a change in this country. And she correlated how important it is to vote at the MTV Awards as it is for everything else, including election.
Now, I would have to ask the question because Mama asked the question. Y'all say it's important to vote, but you got these people. It's mighty funny, Frank and Bernard, that they want people to go out and vote. All they keep saying is vote, vote, vote. They're not telling you who to vote for, what to vote for, how to vote. And then you got the other people that keep telling you to vote, but they want to promote abortion. So, what voting block do you have? What voting power do you have when you want to abort your children, the youth, and then you want to jab up the children and have them on medication, their ADHD medication? You got them on all type of other medication and shit. So you got people doped up, right? But you're telling people to go vote. That's irresponsible. That's at this point in life where there's so much information out there that if you're not giving people correct information, you're just telling people to go vote. Now we pay taxes. Majority of people in this country that's supposed to be citizens, that's working or whatever, that's got an income coming in, you pay taxes. Number one, you pay taxes to what? An unknown entity that's called what? The I, the R, and the S. It's part of the Wheel of Fortune. You drain all our money, tax us on every goddamn corner. Everything that we consume is a tax on it. Water, every damn thing now is a damn tax on it. But you're gonna sit up and tell us to go vote for who?
Hey,
who you goddamn to vote for?
Here you go right here. Here you go right here, because I'm gonna play the video in a minute, all right? The Truth Hurts musician refused to address a recent interview given by comedian Ari Spears, who discussed her body and told the crowd, "They be like Lizzo. Why don't you clap back? Why don't you clap back? Because this is winning. This is winning." He had fat shamed Lizzo in an interview where she said she got a pretty face, but she keeps showing her body off. He continued on saying that was a contradiction to the woman who supported her words. Okay. Let's go. Let's get to this shaming thing right quick.
It's a problem, man.
That's the word shaming again. See, everybody say you're shaming me. No, you don't want to accept accountability.
Hold on, Frank. Did we not get shamed for us not taking the jab, for standing up, not want to so-called take these jabs and not want to wear these masks like they do? Didn't we not stand up to these legal mandates? Weren't we getting shamed for that?
Yep. Like crazy, man.
They're playing a dirty game,
They're playing the game, huh?
But it's all they just hype. They trying to prop up and hype up these women too, man. And this pushes the divisions further with us and our women too, because on stupid stuff like abortion and weight and you know what I'm saying, diet, eating, proper etiquette. You see what I'm saying? Actually, submissiveness, certain things that they're pushing on these women. Independentness to make them separate from us. And then they got something called divesting movement too. I guess the white boy is supposed to be, the European, whatever you want to call them, it's supposed to be better than us or whatever. So, they want to divest and go away and ride off into the sunset with him and leave us. That's perfectly fine. Do what you got to do. Because a lot of y'all don't act like y'all are women anyway, so it's all good. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a mighty funny thing, you know. She talking about body shaming, but women sure don't have no problem with openly talking about a man's genital size, right? They don't have no problem with shaming a man about his genital size if he don't match up and line up, or if he don't fit the right, you know what I mean? They don't have no problem coming out and telling you that and promoting that.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. See, and there's always a double standard, man. You know, and that's another thing too. They got to be, you know, the man in their eyes got to be 6 feet and you know, have to have big genitals, everything. He has to make $1 million, you know, six figures. It's just some imaginary type stuff because they're an imaginary, delusionary type world of their damn self. You see what I'm saying? They actually see themselves as a delusional person, like an avatar, because look how they, you know, make up themselves up and dress themselves up to look, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not trying to be funny or nothing, but it's just like, who's competing? Is the tranny competing with them, or they competing with the tranny? I don't know. Is it just me? My bad.
All that is a part of Wheel of Fortune. Because this is industries, corporations, all of them, they're about profit. So how do they profit? By keeping division. They promote single womanhood, right? Because they know women allegedly are spinners. They are heavy consumers, no matter what economic or social stature they are. They can be poor, middle class, rich, upper class. They're spenders. They're consumers. I would say the more lower class, the middle class are probably more the bigger consumers. Possibly. I don't know. I haven't done the numbers on that. Just looking at about 40 years of just, you know, looking around and seeing, you know. But it's definitely single womanhood is promoted. Independent single womanhood is promoted. Single motherhood is promoted. Heavily promoted. Because guess what? You can sell to them. I mean, they have a whole written out structure on how to sell and market. And women are the target. Women and children are the major target of marketing and sales. Facts.
You're right. That's why when you go through a Chick-fil-A drive-through, you mostly see women.
But yeah, we not bashing on women. I just don't want the audience to be seeing that they're being used as pawns and tools. We are tools and pawns too. They use us for business, sports, all type of stuff. They use us.
Yeah.
Echo.
I don't think it was me because it was doing that when I wasn't even on the feed.
Oh, I don't know.
No, but yeah, you're right, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna throw in my headphones right now in a minute. But yeah, you're right, man. You know, it's all by design. But honestly, you know, it's a cycle, man. And their moms, you know, they talking about they was strong and independent, but you to really be strong and independent, you gotta be woke, man. You gotta see through they didn't see through the bullshit. They didn't see through you know, they're not like us and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying, you know, everybody that's not like us is weak or nothing, but they didn't come through the actual knowledge, man, that all this stuff is really BS. You know what I'm saying? You know, they call their mom strong and independent, but really the mom's really weak because the mom, you see what I'm saying, kind of gave up in a way. You see what I'm saying? The mom didn't really see her highest and fullest potential and then go for it. You see what I'm saying? The mom didn't, you know, want to raise their kids, if not with the dad, you see what I'm saying, but with the father figure that she could raise them with. The mom didn't have the tools equipped to actually be a mother and just never admitted it and just went through life. You see what I'm saying? And went through the kid's childhood. You see what I'm saying? Just out of pocket like that. You see what I'm saying? And knowing that and just didn't care, or might have even been knowing that. So you see what I'm saying? The daughter or whatever, the kids take on them same kind of traits, man. The cycle continues and doesn't get broke. You see what I'm saying? So that's sad right there. That's a sad thing. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't get broke. You see what that makes sense and shit? Like, man, that ain't good.
I mean, well, we just
play the video right quick.
But I just say that there have been pawns in this massive corporation marketing field. They have been a part. This system benefits off single motherhood. This is point blank period.
Oh, no. Man. My bad. Y'all go ahead. That was wrong video. Go ahead.
Well, I will say this, Frank, too, with the independency. There's no one on this earth that's independent. Number one, no human being on this earth is independent per se. My brother Bernard said you can be self-sufficient though, because every human being on this earth is codependent on someone else. Nobody built their own house. Nobody even had their own part. Even if you did build your own house from ground up, you had to go get the parts from somebody. You had to buy the parts from somebody that manufactured parts. So, I mean, most people don't do their own plumbing. Most people don't lay their own flooring or tile. Most people don't even lay their own driveway. Most people don't build their own automobile that they ride in. So we are codependent on one another. But there's an entity that came into this life, this atmosphere, and figured out how to divide and conquer.
Yep, just like they actually really took over America, and I really believe that America is just like the private banks and stuff is owned by a bunch of foreigners. You see what I'm saying? Investors and bankers and lobbyists and all that, and even politicians. But I really think that America's done the same way. You see what I'm saying? Because it just seems like it's kind of like the way they do us and they do these nations. They don't, they big up all these nations, but they do us dirty, man. But they don't forget. You see what I'm saying? We got a nation. You see what I'm saying? We actually, indigenous to this land. They didn't forget. My bad. They try to erase us out of that equation. So you know what I'm saying? So it's a crazy little situation, man. But you're right though. Nobody's dependent. We're all codependent in some way, shape, or form. But they trying to make it seem like we not, right? Because they pushing this LGBT stuff and all that, man, and they pushing this, strong independentness stuff, with these women.
Hold on. Let me bring the judge on right quick. Hey, what's going on, Judge?
Hey, what's going on, people? Gentlemen, how's everybody? Had an electric storm around here, lots of thunder and lightning, and no household lighting. I could have come on, but I've been blended into the dark.
Peace, salute.
Judge, how you doing, man? All right, how you doing, man?
What are we on?
Well, it's kind of funny. We've been talking about a lot of things. Wheel of Fortune, the wheels on the bus go round and round. We were just talking about Lizzo last night on the VMAs last night. And as a matter of fact,
the hippo.
Yeah. Well, that's what you want to call it.
The Cincinnati, Ohio Zoo has a sea cow rescue program. So they had one in their aquarium they had rescued, and they named it after her.
Well, I want you to hear this, though. I want you to hear this.
Why don't you clap back? Because this I'm winning, ho. You know what? I'm not going to say nothing. They be like, Lizzo, why don't you clap back? Why don't you clap back? Because this I'm winning, ho.
All right. Okay, Judge, this is what happened, man.
Okay, do you want your woman, your daughters or your granddaughters or your nieces to act like that?
I don't know. I'll let the gentleman answer.
I mean, she's fat. There are a lot of fat people in America, many more than there used to be percentage-wise, whole lot more. But you know, there's a thing about being decent, and some talk about, well, look at Beyonce and Ciara and all these other, and Rihanna who go around, and J-Lo who go around half dressed. Well, the point of the exercise is, as far as humanity standards go, they look beautiful. Lizzo might be there with a whole lot of gym work and effort to restore all of the sagging flesh and cottage cheese that got brought about by unhealthy eating habits. But she's not there, so she doesn't belong in a museum as an item of statuary or a painting, unless maybe you're talking about those sick Dutch with Rubenesque stuff where they were bragging about how well they could feed their women, so to show their own wealth. But other than that, no, she doesn't need to be under the circus tent. Maybe she needs to be in a circus tent, but she needs to show nice personality and other stuff, because she ain't nobody's standard of beauty unless you got a fat mama who looks like that. Now, not down in women who are fat. Some of them got pretty faces and have very good personalities. And beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But, I mean, you know, come on now.
Well, this is what happened.
Just put some clothes on and stop slutting out. That's inappropriate.
This is what happened, Judge. This is what happened. So, it was a comedian named Aaron Spears, and he said that he basically said she was overweight for the better, and she said it's body shaming, and she was thanking her fans.
So goddamn what if you body shame? Where is the bullshit in that? That's reality. Hey man, your mama look like a pig, man. I don't want to say nothing, but her car broke down in the country, man. She got out with her boyfriend, her daddy rather, man, to fix a flat tire, and the farmer ran out and grabbed her, threw her in his farmyard, man. Slopped her the next morning.
Well,
hey, reality.
Well, yeah, okay, because I got one more thing to show on this, and then I'm gonna get off it.
Hey, you don't want to get your ass shamed. Don't act like you need to be put in the hall of shame. God damn. Click, click.
Let me make a disclaimer.
What are you doing? Taking your picture for the hall of shame? Shit.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not the views and opinions expressed by everyone. Hey. Woo.
I mean, if you overweight, you overweight. But I mean, you know, you hang in there until you go to the gym for a few months instead of spending your money on $400 nail jobs and Tootsie jobs and, you know, being garish and having those gray stretch tights that are actually just gray sweats that get stretched out of proportion because what's in them is big. I mean, you know, work out at the gym. Don't flash your bare ass where, you know, you got on a thong and they can't even see it because it looks like dental floss. You know, what time is that? And, you know, the other folk like it because you fit into that mammy mold. They push it. And that lesbian thing about we don't need to appeal to men, just to ourselves. And, you know, we don't need men objectifying beauty. Well, hell, beauty is what it is, because if humans didn't have a value on beauty, we'd still be looking like Australopithecines. Translation, look like damn chimpanzees. We don't. So, you know, women pick power and strength, and men pick beauty.
And Frank and Shaq, y'all tap in where I want to. But I want to bring up one other thing that happened to VMAs. Lizzo was just like the appetizer, Judge. We're going to get started on this thing. Because you just had a guy named Billy.
You mean the aliens are finally coming and they're going to have the food people served up for dinner? They can use some of my barbecue sauce. I'll volunteer. That'd get me in the door so the aliens don't eat me.
Wait a minute.
But I ain't talking about them south of the border aliens. I'm talking about from outer space ETMFs, you know. Hey.
Hey, well, look, Judge, look at this. Comedian Billy Eckler slammed the U.S. Supreme Court and Justice Clarence Thomas at the MTV Awards last night, calling them homophobes who are stuck in the past. He teased an upcoming film he co-wrote and stars and called Bros about a relationship between two men before he took a jab.
Oh, punk ass talking shit already. Why should we listen to him?
You there on September 30th because listen, I need all you there on September 30th. We need to show all the homophobes like Karen Thomas and Sabrina. We want gay stories. And he is gay.
Look, if the look, let me say this. If a dude wants to dick up his ass in his bedroom, that's his business. But it's still punked out.
Well, hold
what
on,
can I say?
What's up, NTV? Now listen up. Some of you know me as Billy on the street. But on September 30th, I have a movie coming out called Bros. Bros is making history as the first gay rom-com ever made by a major studio. And the first where every role is played by an openly LGBTQ actor. Right? And I need you all because we need to show all the homophobes like Tom and all the
homophobe.
from the Supreme Court that we
Ain't got nothing to do with a goddamn phobia. It's just like, man, you want to dick up your ass and you ain't in the penitentiary trying to keep your ass from getting beat. Damn, what's wrong with you?
And Bros is the future. Are you with me, DNA? And speaking of sinners, there are only a few voices in rock that can transport you to another place. All you sinners already know who we're talking about. That's right. They have defined genres, constantly reinvented and redefined their style. They don't just have albums, they have eras. VMAs! This is Panic at the Disco!
What the hell was that about?
Look at him. He looks like he want to get a meat popsicle so bad.
See what we got to do.
Damn.
See, we got to start blocking this shit out and stop reporting on it. See, we keep giving them too much. We giving them too much fucking credit. We report on their shit more than they report on our shit. Like I said, man, hey, they do what they do, man. But I just say we giving them too much credit and we report on them too much. Like, that's what they want. They want to be seen. They want to be seen. Seen.
Hey, Frank, hold on, Jerry, 1 second. I want to let Frank say something. He got a little echo, so I'm going to let him say something right now. Frank, that's some crazy stuff, ain't it, man?
Yeah, this is wild, man. I mean, it's obviously an agenda, you know. You already, you talking about, when the date of the movie's going to come out and it's coming out and everything. He's just trying to promote, and trying to, indoctrinate once again, what I'm saying? Just trying to promote his little movie or whatever and trying to, but a lot of this stuff is geared towards the youth.
The question is, are you a homophobe? I ain't no damn homophobe. I'm not none of that stuff. I don't go by your terminology. I'm not no damn homophobe. Why you keep saying
that's what I'm saying. If you don't like a black person, you're not you're not a blackophobe. So or phobia with black or nothing. It's not. It's just interesting how that works. But like these people create the lingo, man. You see what I'm saying? What they do, they create the lingo, man. And and that's it. You see what I'm saying? And it's just a genre, man. It's just all BS to me. It's all BS to me because at the same time, it's just like it's a double standard. Because what if one of them says something about somebody straight? It's not the same kind of.
What's the definition of homophobe?
That's what I'm saying. When did it come out? When did that term come out?
You're a homophobe?
About 12 years ago. Before that, it's a spin, flip the script propaganda thing on heterophobia, which
there you go.
Fear, terror, and phobia that homosexuals had against straight folk who burnt them at the stake, locked them up, hung them, beheaded them, drove spikes into them, put them in jail, fired them from jobs, castigated them, embarrassed them, and generally censored their behavior. So yeah, they had a real phobia. That's been in Webster's dictionary for 200 damn years, is heterophobia. It's about 12 years old when they started flipping the script doing homophobia. So it's a new creation, it's crap. So it's like this. See, they aren't normal. Okay, I've got glasses. I need them to read. So my vision is not normal. If it was normal, I wouldn't need these glasses. But what they're trying to do is go around and recruit the children and everybody else to fucking up your vision, so you need glasses to see. Well, we're normal. We're heterosexual. That's sexual reproduction, which has been Mother Nature's design for a long time. Not saying there aren't some deviances even in the lower animals. I mean, but the bottom line is that that's not the normality. Plumage, smell, size, bearing, all kinds of things are out there. So the opposite sexes or opposite genders attract. Now they come up with this fluid gender bullshit to try and propagandize the country and particularly the youth into accepting their abnormality. Well, somebody may be born without an arm, may be born blind, deaf, dumb, whatever the case may be. You help them out. That's what humans do, but you don't try to make that normal because it's not. So, dude, like a meat popsicle up his ass, you know, that's his right under the Constitution as the Supreme Court's been interpreting it. So let him go do that in his bedroom. But I walked.
Hold on, Judge. Let me back up a little bit. I thought that was sodomy. When did they rule out sodomy off?
Let me explain. It's funny. I had a case where I tried as a defense lawyer, several of them. One of them was really funny. The jury was freaking out. The case was tried in 1979 in Memphis, Tennessee, and the offense was unnatural sex acts that carried 3 to 15 years in the state penitentiary. Dude's ex-wife walked in on him and his new girlfriend because she kept a bootleg key to the door she wasn't supposed to have. Flagged down a plastic copy, walks in with her. And dude and his girlfriend are going down on each other in the couch. So both of them got charged with unnatural sex acts. So he was eating pussy, she was sucking dick, you know, big deal. But that was 3 to 5 years in the state penitentiary and a fine to be determined by the jury. And one juror said, Jesus Christ, Lawyer Brown, you mean to tell me what me and my wife do? You know, we could get 3 to 15 in the penitentiary. He said, Judge said, that's correct, sir. And that's why I say what you do in your bedroom is your own damn business because it can go both ways. Now, that said, they have no business doing what they're doing in public because, example, I'm walking in a movie theater and I went in there to see a movie, Beast. Eldris was in it, and it's an interesting movie. And when I'm walking out, I'm looking at this series of posters on the wall advertising animations that appeal to children. So after I passed 2 of them, they were upcoming events. There was this one where there's this dude standing there, and it may be the movie this fool's talking about. And one dude had his hands on another dude's ass, and that dude had his hands on his ass. And I'm saying, you know, and my date said, you know what? This is ridiculous. If they showed a man with his hand on a woman's ass like that, the feminists would be raising hell. Now they have this right in the middle of these posters designed to appeal to children with 2 men with their hands on each other's ass. That's wrong. You see, you're not even supposed to show normal sexuality, but they have a free license, a freebie, to show all the abnormal deviance that they can. Have you seen this thing, Pussy Valley? It's supposed to take place in Mississippi.
I know some women that told me they watched it. I'm like, no.
Looked at 2 episodes and it was nauseating. First off, I used to I used to be on retainer to a lot of strip clubs, and some of my clients would go from Mississippi to Tennessee to Arkansas. They over glam the damn thing. There's a gay boy running it, and he likes to suck dick, and he does that graphically in the series. And I'm just looking at it. Damn, look at this. They trash the women. It's not real. It's very bad because they glamorize this stuff. And if you want to talk about some poor, exploited women, talk about strippers. First off, most of them aren't even exploited by women. Now, I was on retainer to a number of clubs, and all through the 1980s, I represented a whole bunch of hoes and strippers. I paid a lot of rent and a lot of secretaries' salaries behind what them hoes and pimps and dancers paid me, and the clubs too. And if you got 100 strippers, 95 of them are lesbians, 3 of them are bisexual, and 2 of them are straight. And the problem I had with most of the ladies that I represented was they were giving their money away to their girlfriends and buying drugs for them, or buying drugs for self and getting high. So it's a real weird thing about, I don't care about this. If some damn fool wants to look at my bare pussy or my bare ass, then more power to that damn fool paying his damn money to look at me. I'll take him for every dime he's got. And half the dudes come in there because they want the rare chance of picking some chick up. But hell, the funny part about it is the 2 or 3 straight ones out of every 100 that I represented, they'd screw somebody free of charge just because they got horny up in there dancing for 2 hours naked. So, I mean, and the rest of the lesbian ones and bi ones, they're trying to get the guys to pay and for nothing, teasing them, strip tease. That's what they used to call it. It's a tease. Fools go up in there thinking they're gonna get something. Most of the time, they ain't even gonna get within sniffing distance, except for the fact that they can smell it because it ain't washed. But it is what it is. So they're glamorizing this. And I'm thinking of all the young girls, the daughters and granddaughters and nieces and great nieces of friends and acquaintances who are getting fucked up in the head from looking at this. And I'm going, it's bad. But you see, that's what they do. And this dude's talking about somebody's homophobic. No, we just don't like your nasty motherfucking ass that you got a dick stuck up your butt and then put it in your mouth. What the hell's wrong with you? Leave that shit up in the joint.
Somebody say monkeypox 2.0.
Hey, it's a milder form of smallpox, so it's fucked up. And by the way, if you're immune to smallpox, you're immune to monkeypox. But it's spreading amongst the gay crowd. And interestingly enough, and you can reflect on this, it's also spreading to young children, 10 or 11 and under. So how is that the case?
Are they getting raped by gays?
Yeah. Uncle Billy, Uncle Jamal, is he playing with these children?
Well, you know, a couple months back,
HIV and the Center for Disease Control, who is the darling of the leftists, they get suppressed because their press releases on the resurgence of HIV. That isn't popular. And then this thing, they put out notices and warnings on monkeypox, and they get that suppressed. So, I mean, hey, it's a conspiracy. It's like there's a new religion and you've got fanatics trying to spread it. We've seen that in history, and here you have. Islam came out of the Middle East, and there was this thing 1,500 years ago when it spread. Christianity, you know, tried to impose itself 1,000 years ago in the Crusades. And then before that, you had Judaism coming out of Egypt with Moses and ethnic cleansing all through the Middle East with Exodus and all that. You know, it's nothing new. But right now, you've got this new thing coming out of the United States with the rainbow cult doing their thing. And I mean, just because somebody's gay doesn't mean they follow LGBTQ plus. Just like if you're Christian, you weren't necessarily a fan of Reverend Jim Jones or drinking Kool-Aid at large church picnics.
Well, let me bring up something here, Judge, because I want to bring this up because it's coming up Thursday night. Mr. Joe Biden is going to do a primetime speech about how America's rights and freedoms are under attack. Returning to the core message of the 2020 campaign is Americans are getting ready to vote in the November midterm elections. He will address the speech at Independence Hall, and the president will just lay out how America standing in the world of democracy state. Biden will highlight what he sees the progress over the last 2 years, but notes that rights and freedom remain in which he will make clear who is fighting for rights, fighting for freedoms, and fighting for democracy. He said that he's wrapping up his travel schedule in the coming closing months of midterm elections.
That piece of
he also
urban
is called. I'm just
trailer
throwing this in.
That piece of Erland trade.
But he's also talking about Donald Trump being semi-fascist.
Is trying to destroy the Bill of Rights, and then see that's a propaganda tactic. You try to flip the script and put it on the other side. I don't particularly like Republicans, but I mean, right now, at least they're not destroying the traditional nuclear family. And if you don't have the family, man, some home base, so you can get your home training, you got a long way to go to get your ass together before you can get grown.
But why is he always talking about your freedoms at stake? We fighting for the sake of democracy.
Because that's what propagandists do. That is their tactic. It has been since day one. When you are a goddamn totalitarian bastard like he is, he's a Nazi. He may not even know it, but he's for totalitarian governance. And see, that's what they do. They pull this crap off, and they start taking the terms associated with being a free people. They flip the script and apply them to the methodology of people who want to impose totalitarianism, so you have no rights. They want to dictate what you can think. They want to throw you away in someplace and confine you in a stockade because you don't go with their party line. It's like Torquemada in the Spanish Inquisition in the 16th century. They want to have that brought back again. And they have such terms as homophobic, transphobic. Well, what the hell? You got some freak wants to run around cross-dressed and he's got mental health issues. Hell, he's a punk. That ain't no man thing. So that's supposed to be a phobia? No, it's just distaste and dislike. Get your shit together, dude. I'm sorry you don't like pussy. That's awful strange, Or you like, what's his name, milk yogurt, Malik Yoba. I interviewed him. I tried to say, wait a minute. What do you mean you're not gay? He said, well, I like women only. I said, well, I thought you liked chicks with tits and dicks. Well, yeah, but they're women. Oh, hell no. It got a dick is a dude. And you like to go have sex with them, that means your ass is gay. You don't know.
Stop it!
Noise canceling.
Sounds good. You gotta hear this right quick.
With just over 2 months to go before the midterm elections, President Biden had a new attack on Republicans during a fundraiser last night. The president said, quote, what we're seeing now is the beginning or the death knell of an extreme MAGA philosophy. It's not just Trump, it's the entire philosophy that underpins the, I'm going to say something. It's like semi-fascism. That's a quote. In a campaign event before his fundraiser, Biden pointed his attack squarely on former President Trump.
In 2020, you and 81 million Americans voted to save our democracy. That's why Donald Trump isn't just a former president.
He is a defeated former president.
Joining us now,
Joining
NBC's
us
senior White House correspondent Kelly O'Donnell. Kelly, it's great seeing you. So, what more can you tell us about this president's message?
Well, important to point out that there are two kinds of campaign events for the president. The first one where you gave the quote. There was no camera there, but they do allow some representatives to be inside a fundraiser with the big dollar donors to just be aware of what is the president communicating to donors. And then a separate public event. And sometimes what the president says matches up, and sometimes it's a little different. And that can be very illustrative of the planning for what does this president and the Democratic Party want to do, waging the battle ahead for the midterms. And so clearly, President Biden has given this a lot of thought and a lot of time. This was his foray into midterm politics, and he wants to make the argument that certain elements of the Republican Party, he was careful to say that conservative Republicans are people he has worked with and has respect for, but those that have gone the MAGA route, who have gone the election denier route, who have been arguing for a restriction of rights, that's where he wants to draw the line and wants to make it about freedom versus autocrats and wants to argue that Democrats must show up. And we know that midterm elections, it's harder to draw the base to turn out and to vote. And this is historically a difficult election for a party like the Democrats who hold the presidency and both chambers of Congress. Statistically, historically, that can be difficult. But Democrats have had some positive developments of late. The reaction to overturning Roe v. Wade and some of the legislative victories for the president give them some encouragement. And that's the kind of marker President Biden wants to put down of freedom versus turning things backwards. Expect to hear a lot more of that, Jose.
All right, Judge.
You know
so
what? You need
Republicans.
to turn every one of those bastards out. It's only from what you see from MSNBC. In my lifetime, let's say 40 years ago when I was in my 30s, you never would have heard NBC, CBS, ABC do what you just heard. They would say there are accusations of. They would not say false claims that the election was stolen. They wouldn't say to restore, turn back freedom. They wouldn't say that. You can tell what's going on because this cult, this rainbow cult, is taking over the news media. First they took over entertainment, then the news media. They insinuated themselves into the political parties, and there are representatives on both sides. They create confusion, so there's no nonpartisan activity. And they use the confusion to push this quasi-religious agenda. If you want to understand it, think of this. You have Christianity, Islam, Judaism, you've got Hinduism, you've got Buddhism, you've got Zen, Confucianism, but the last three have no God. They're a system of philosophy. And the same thing with the LGBTQ cult. It's a system of philosophy. And if you get that, they're trying to make it the official state religion. They're trying to make it imposed on children by the cities, by the states, and by the federal government. You can't put a cross under the American flag on a flagpole that's associated with a governmental structure. You can't put the crescent and the star under that flag. You can't put the six-pointed Judaic star under that flag. You can't put the symbol for Hinduism under that flag, but you get to put the rainbow flag under that flag. You can't have a nativity scene that is sponsored by a governmental entity, local, state, or federal, but you have in D.C. federal employees painting rainbow crosswalks, sidewalks in streets that say LGBTQ from one side of the street to the other, or BLM, which advertises itself as an adjunct of LGBTQIA+. and says every dollar that you send to BLM, 1/3 goes to BLM, 1/3 goes to LGBTQ, and 1/3 goes to Act Blue, which is a Democratic Party fundraising organization. So you and I went into that before they stripped that stuff off their site, which they used to have on there. But bottom line is that it's a farce. It's an attempt to take a nihilistic point of view, an abnormality, and a failure at Mother Nature's design, and try to turn it into a normalcy and make a secular religion out of it that is trying to be put over everything. And that's wrong in terms of the American way. They want to suppress the Second Amendment so you get censored and you can't say what you want to say. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. They want to have this thing called hate speech, which is an anathema to a free country because toughen up, damn it. So what if somebody's talking about you? We used to talk about folks' mamas all the time. Hey, man, your mama's so fat she can't get in the bathtub, but with 2 drops of water, man, that's why she can't clean her ass and she stinks so bad. We used to do that running the dozens. You know, sticks and stones, etc. Words can never hurt me. You know, they seem to have forgotten that. The hell with the 4th Amendment when it comes to needing a warrant for search and seizure. Look at what they did to Trump. If they do that to an ex-president, what the hell do they do to the rest of us? The 5th Amendment, look what they tried to do with Cosby and subvert the hell out of that due process under the 14th Amendment. The hell with that. You know, they are really trying to turn this mess around. So we are leading to what these folk known as the National Socialist Workers Party got, except it was in the 30s and their acronym in German was Nazi. So are we supposed to go?
All right, Judge, got one for you right here.
Salute? We don't want to do that because you might get censored if you put that remark out there. Hey, it's bad. We do need to be free, but the best thing to be free is to vote these damn fascist bastards the hell out of office. And if you are worried about the lesser of 2 evils, damn, hold your nose and vote the opposite party or somebody independent. Vote candidates and issues, and the candidate issues are not somebody more evil than the rest.
But it's talking about freedom, though, is at jeopardy. But it just weaponized American citizens. He just weaponized us being American citizens. Why I say that? Because when so-called pandemic hit, if you didn't take the jab, this unlawful mandates, you was what? You was an outcast. And then on top of that, they hit you with the Asian hate crime bill. Now, hold on. Last time I played, I thought we was American citizens. So how did y'all manage to muscle up and sign and enact a Asian hate bill? That's anti-American to me.
Well, yeah. And let me tell you something else, Shaq, about what you just said right there. This isn't particularly anti-American, but this show you where they're going. Like Judge talking about Second Amendment and talking about everything, 4th Amendment, all that stuff. Like this. Just last week in Richmond, Judge, we had a gun buyback program where they had 160 specific and collected 474 guns.
Yeah, I saw that. You sent me that.
Yeah, but see, they give you 250 for assault weapon. It was not an assault weapon, by the way. 200 for handgun, 150 for rifles, and 25 for an operable gun. They did have a gun show Saturday and Sunday at the Richmond Raceway Complex where they had races. They just had a gun show. So I'm guaranteed these people that gave you these, they probably went and bought another gun. But check this out. If you could also get in exchange for Amazon, Walmart, Kroger, or Foot Locker gift cards.
That's what they gave. They didn't give out cash.
Yeah.
I checked into that. They were giving out gift cards, not cash.
But see, that says a lot about our people, though, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure it wasn't just black people.
Is the ones that were semi-auto, they were sending them to Ukraine. So what the hell? It's okay to send it over there and not here? What's the deal? While supposedly promoting Ukraine freedom so they can put their Nazi-like crap in place. And by the way, because they were with the Soviet Union at the time. The Ukraine still hasn't answered for their Nazi atrocities because they were one of the biggest supporters of Adolf Hitler at the beginning of the World War II.
So why
still are?
So I got a question. I'm talking about this. But so if that's the case, then why did black people got up signs that say stand for Ukraine and stuff? What's up with that?
What?
Why do some black people, when the first thing they were putting on their Facebook page, stand with Ukraine, I stand with Ukraine. Whatever stand with or not.
You know, we always have been known for picking up foolishness and pushing it.
Well,
ain't nothing new.
We're the pawns, man. So to use the pawns to do pawn like things, you know.
Well, my thing is,
we had a term back in the 60s. We had a term back in the 60s that I haven't heard lately, but it goes like this: brother, you tripping, motherfucker. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I meant to tell you, Judge, now also before you came on, I was talking about a shooting at a church down the street from me. They got the shooting they got the fighting at the funeral service, and they got the shooting. Nobody got hurt, but they did get a shooting. And Judge, you've been saying, where the manhood at? You get your dukes up and you fight. Why you get to get shooting for? What's up?
Punked out.
Oh, they punked out.
Yeah, that's punked out. Young man, before the court rules on your sentencing request, might you answer this question? Why didn't you just fight it out, toe to toe, man to man? Yo, Yana, it's like this, man. It's like I got my ladies supporting me. They thinks I'm fine, so I can't have no scars on my face. I got to keep myself, so I can keep the ducats moving in. So how you support yourself? Yo, Yana, with due respect, I got 4 ladies take good care of me. 2 of them got a job, 1 get a crazy check, 1 get AFDC. They takes care of me. So you are a gigolo. Huh? That's a male hoe. So, and I ain't talking about getting pussy. I'm talking about being paid for it, getting dick, selling dick. So you a boy toy. Ain't no toy. What the hell you think you are? So women supposed to pay you because you fuck them? What the hell is your thing, man? Don't report this, madam. Oh, what's wrong with you? Man's supposed to support women, not sit up there and, get supported by. You ain't nothing but a punk. So the court
I thought this was a mere gigolo.
Turn the record back on. Court's disposed to modify the probation request and change it to split confinement. What's today's date? June 17th. Show the defendant released on March 17th next year, followed by 5 years probation. If he gets his GED into step 6 of this 12-point rehab program, the court invites him back in. He will also need to agree to submit to the counseling program the court is set up to deal with revising his outlook on these things. So in other words, he would have brought out somewhere, it's June 17th. If I had just denied it, he probably would have gotten out beginning of August. But now his ass is going to sit in there longer. And every time he doesn't deal with what I want, so he'd man up, I'd bring him in on not a probation revocation, but on a probation bond hearing, because I already him on release to the probation department. So all they got to do is snatch him and bring him down on a bond surrender. And Madam Court Reporter, Madam Clerk, please give the court a date, 30 days hence. The court's really going to have to agonize over what to do with this defendant. So we will take this back up. So 30 days hence, have you thought about it, young man? And are you committing yourself to doing what the court is going to order you to do in addition? And you will be back here. Give him a date in 2 weeks. He'll be back here so the court can eyeball him and see if he's compliant. I'm teaching this fool how to be a man and be self-sustaining. So it works out. 25 years later, I get people walking up with gray hair. Judge, you remember me? No, I don't, sir. Well, you gave me some time. Did I give you enough? Well, yeah, see, but it was about this manhood thing. Once I figured it out, listening to these sessions you made me come to, I got grandchildren and children, and all of the kids are employed, married, or in school. Ain't nobody messing up. And I got 8 or 9 kids around the neighborhood. I'm trying to teach what you taught me. Thank you. Let me shake your hand, sir. Sure, brother. Come on. You may have seen that when you came and visited us in Memphis.
Yeah, I did. Well, let me say something about that. I got to say something, Judge, because I just pulled a statistic up last week, or the week before, and I showed you that men are dropping out of the workforce, women are becoming more employed. But here's the problem. They're not telling you how many people have not came back to work. And you got Biden and sitting there telling you now that you got employee laying off in California. They want you to have an electric car by 2035. Then you got another little problem now where, like, this thing, Judge, you the perfect person to talk to. This student loan debt thing they keep bringing up. That's what it was, the student loan debt. They done sold people on a bag of goods again.
Yeah, they have. See, what happens is banks and lending institutions have to employ enormous resources for collection and enforcement. And what happens is when you forgive these student loans, the government can't deprive a corporate entity of property, which includes money, without due process of law. So they have a contract with the lending institutions to pay it off. So in other words, they don't have to have the collection department. The legal department doesn't have to file actions to enforce claims. And it's more money for Wall Street, so to speak. Next thing that happens is it's an embarrassment if you think about it. Anywhere else in the world, if you had a college education, you would be firmly in the middle class at least, and you wouldn't need to have it excused because you would make enough to pay it off. Now, did you get what they were saying? And this is uncomfortable to a lot of people because of the reality that it implies. This only goes for those making, if they're single, $125,000 or less per year. Most people, black, don't get this. $125,000 is what it takes to classify yourself as middle class. For 2 people married in a household, the cutoff is $250,000 per year. A lot of brothers on Twitter wanted to raise hell when I raised the point. Oh, man, what you talking about, Judge? Like, we doing well, man. We making $136,000 a year in the household. Well, how much do you make? $25,000. And my woman, no, fool, you ain't bringing in what you're supposed to be doing. See, middle class is $125K for an individual. You're making less than that, you're not middle class. You're lower middle class, or you are perhaps working class, but you ain't middle class. And anywhere else in the world, if you had a college education, you would be middle class, and you wouldn't need anybody to bail you out. Now, that bespeaks another problem. Nobody is saying a damn thing about generating the jobs and the earnings capability and capacity of the system so that you would be in the middle class with a college education. That's the problem. See, right now, industrial technology and computerization have made most or a lot of jobs obsolete and the working class obsolete. So we are the only industrialized country in the world that does not have a coherent government program to reverse that worker obsolescence. So our solution, since everything's left to private enterprise, which is not about the business of charity, even if they claim that their business is making money, what happens is while we whoopee, we leave it to them. they don't do anything about it. So we have schoolhouse to jailhouse pipeline to store the surplus labor. And yeah, they put it to work, but it ain't about getting the free labor. Actually, that's this showpiece, and it's stuff where the labor process is unprofitable to whatever industry has a voice. So we got a real mess going on. Why in the hell do we have a situation where with a college education, you too broke to pay off the loans? In other words, the problem is that, take the Pell Grants. Your parents have to be below a cutoff level. So you just got through being sent to college and you can't do any better than your parents did and you're worse off than they are. Something screwed up there. Something really screwed up.
Right. I think, yeah, like you said, Judge, I think they should, if anything, why are we not looking at the cost of tuition? You know, why are we not looking up lower than that cost or something like that? Not.
I went to UCLA in the 60s, graduated class of 69. We had no tuition. Now it's ridiculously high. You see, most public colleges and universities in America didn't have tuition 50 years ago. That got started by St. Ron the Reagan. So he became governor in the late 60s on a platform that he would end free college education because the people that were getting it were nothing but long-haired hippies who were trying to support our commie enemies and all of this kind of nonsense. And when he got to be president in the 80s, he pushed, well, his administration, he was too senile to know what the hell was going on. His administration pushed the issue, and now it's ruinous going to college. Ruinous.
Okay, so I'm tripping because I didn't even know that they didn't have tuition before. So that's a crazy situation. No. So basically, Biden and them, or Congress and whoever, they could take the tuition, take it away if they wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, why don't they do that? If they were serious about it, you could do something about channeling money into that. Look at this, $63 billion to Ukraine. What the hell for? That $63 billion could have gone back into dealing with reduction of what it costs to go to college. I mean, it's called human infrastructure. And just like you're supposed to repair the roadways, bridges, highways, waterways, so that the country can keep rolling and communicating and engaged in trade and stuff. You're supposed to do that with the human resource so the next generation can take care of business too, but we're not. Well, look at what's going on now. Potholes all over the streets everywhere in America. I guess they don't take care of infrastructure these days, human or physical.
You know, I was thinking, I said that the same thing. I don't know if I said it on the show, but I was saying the same thing the other day. That's so true. See, our tax, where's this tax money going? I think it's going to a lot of people's pockets. That's why I think a lot of tax money is going.
But it's cutting off a lot of dicks and making artificial pussies. You know what it costs? See this shit that this fool is doing about recruiting this bunch to the military? That's so they will get a lot of people in the military that aren't going to be thinking, oh, hell no, I'm not going to kick down some doors when I may be kicking down Uncle John's or Grandpappy Allen's door, to enforce this authoritarian Nazism crap that I'm hearing. They get people in who'll do it. But you see, they sign up. So they want the dicks cut off and reconstructive surgery. Well, at a minimum, just to start on it, it cost what 2 of these Rhino mine-resistant vehicles cost. So we still are engaged around the world where the massive casualties that young troops suffer is from IEDs, improvised explosive devices, a type of IKD, improvised killing device, and they get mutilated, fucked up, and dead. And if you had a Rhino, the cost of elective surgery for these folks who want their dicks cut off is the price of 2 Rhino vehicles, about $1,010,000, 1.1 million. You get 2 equipped Rhinos, and you can seat 6 to 11 people per Rhino. So that's anywhere from 12 to 22 young folk that don't get fucked up by an improvised killing device, IED, in return for some dude getting his dick cut off to start on getting an artificial pussy. And by the time you put that in, you could have bought 4 Rhinos. So it's a real mess. So that's where the money's going. We are deficient as a military now, other than going to World War III and blowing up the world. We got a problem dealing with mainland China, the People's Republic of China, PROC, PROC, Russia, Pakistan, and India look like they're on our side right now, but that's marginal. We've got North Korea. And we've got a mess because our military has been slowly defunded for this damn game. Right now, we have an ammunition crisis. Go out and try to buy some 9mm. Well, the military's suffering too, because under the Obama administration and amplified by the Biden-ass administration, you've got a situation where they're trying to disarm the public to make it safer for the crowd that has no manhood and no masculinity, and give up the freedom. So we are suffering all kinds of ways. We don't have the money. And what the hell are we giving away? So much money that could be used for the benefit of the citizenry to someplace Ukraine, which is a backwater. Wow. Does it have anything to do with jackass in chief Joe Biden trying to buy his way out of 120-some count indictment that exists in the Ukraine for him and his son? The Ukraine Supreme Court, 5 days before the November 2020 election, removed the redactions, and guess whose name pops up? For extortion, bribery, subornation of treason, etc., etc. The U.S. Constitution, Article 6, as part of the supreme law of the land shall be this Constitution, etc., and such treaties as are ratified by the Senate. And one of the treaties that's ratified, actually several, say that Ukraine and the U.S. shall assist each other in the apprehension of criminality, extradition of wanted persons, and assist in the prosecution thereof. So our president has pending indictments, felony indictments, for bribery, extortion, and treason, etc., subornation of perjury. And Article 2, Section 4 of the United States Constitution says president or vice president may be impeached and, if convicted, removed from office for 3 things: bribery, treason, and criminality or crimes in office. They put it high crimes and misdemeanors. Is it treason? No, because the Constitution itself defines treason. It's the only crime defined by the Constitution. It's very narrow. It's very strict. It specifies the number of witnesses and what they have to be able to testify to. And it ain't happening because it doesn't apply. When you came to Trump, when they tried to bring him in, it didn't apply in terms of bribery when you had Trump. But what they did with Trump, by the way, was set a precedent for impeaching and attempting to convict someone for either bribery, treason, or crimes in office for a position they no longer held. Remember, the second time they went after Trump, he was no longer president. So they certainly would be able to go after Biden for what he did when he was vice president rather than president. And the 12th Amendment would make him ineligible thereafter to run again for U.S. president. Now, can that happen? Well, anybody with the piss poor ratings that this administration has always lost whatever chamber of Congress they control. So since they control the House, they would lose that. And the Senate, actually, they don't control that. They don't have a majority. It's 50 Republicans, 48 Democrats, 2 independents, and the vice president, who is that incompetent Kamala Imhoff, can break the tie 50-50 and control it, but they'd lose that. So I can easily see a majority of the House returning articles of impeachment against Joe Biden as soon as they get in after this November during the 2023 year, in time to get articles set up and sent over to the Senate and voted upon in the Senate very quickly, and impeach and convict Biden for what he did as vice president of the United States. Hell, January 20th, I think it was, 2018, he got up on C-SPAN, and I heard him. He proudly or jokingly said, I guess I'm guilty of bribery because I told them that they'd lose their $14 billion in American loan guarantees if they didn't call this guy off of my son. They did. Bribery. There it goes. Speaking of which, to show you what kind of bullshit these fools do, they went after Trump the first time on these 2 articles for impeachment. Abusing his authority, 1, and 2, obstructing Congress. Well, there is no such federal crime as abusing authority, so it has to be a felony or a misdemeanor in office. So what was that? Abusing authority is certainly not treason as defined under the U.S. Constitution, and it certainly isn't bribery. So that one's dead on arrival in the Senate. And then Congress, obstructing Congress, see, they fell into a trap. I'm a congressman. I'm elected to 2-year terms. Well, the Constitution says, Article 1, there shall be 2 chambers of Congress, a House of Representatives and a Senate. So since they're both construed as Congress, all they had to do when the bill came over to the Senate is, hey, we're majority Republicans in this time. Did we feel obstructed? No. Well, that one's out of there. So bye, this is nothing but bullshit. Did the same thing on number 2, but they set the precedent for going after Biden. So they have some troubles. And as far as Kamala Queenla, Harris Imhoff, Mrs. Imhoff, being president of the United States, or Democratic Party candidate therefore, is not going to fly because she's got even worse ratings than Spiro Agnew, who was Tricky Dick Nixon's vice president, even after he got convicted in a state, I think it was Maryland, and for federal offenses by the feds, and actually did federal and state time in the penitentiary. So, I mean, it's pretty bad. So be careful what the hell you ask for. You just might get it.
And we've been
So why she don't hyphen her husband's name?
I know. Why didn't she use it? There's Nancy Pelosi. What's the Alaskan governor? Sarah Palin. There's Mrs. Feinstein. Why does she not do her husband's thing? She adopted his children. Is that kind of embarrassing? Oh, she doesn't know about that connection. I'll be nice. I'll say a Hollywood lawyer. And being in Hollywood for 15 years, that neat popsicle thing going there.
Well, let me say something. Yeah, they gotta bring something up right quick. Why?
That's his business.
I gotta bring something up.
Business under law.
So you've been running for mayor. How is that going?
Oh, that's going pretty well. I've got some people that are lining up. They're trying to get color to get in the race so they can get one of the other side in there again. But then the other side doesn't like what they've been looking at. So I've been getting a lot of encouragement from that side too. The point is we have a city that ought to be the mecca for the South for black, white, brown, red, yellow, and it's not happening because the clowns that are in place right now running this area. 2 months ago, there was reports that Memphis, out of the top 25 largest cities in America, is the most incompetently, ineptly, and inefficiently run of the bunch. And Memphis is the 14th largest city in the country. That said, it's time to clean up the corruption, time for new ideas, time for somebody that's not in position, trying to get a position where he can become wealthy. Hell, I don't need the money. We need to bring in European trade that's there for the offering. We need to amplify the shipping. We need to investigate using tidal electric generation technology down here in the Mississippi River. Tennessee Valley Authority is absolutely pathetic. Right now, we have a problem. In Memphis, they're dumping coal ash down in North Memphis, which is right in the middle of the Black Hood, and it's very unhealthy.
I thought no one was a crime.
Yeah, Tennessee, there's been no environmental impact done. Some people are getting money under the table. The interesting thing about Tennessee Valley is guess who the highest paid federal employee is in America? It's not the President of the United States. It's the CEO of the TVA, Tennessee Valley Authority. His reported income last year was $10 million a year. That's way more than the president gets. So why do we have that? And there's a board of directors that each get paid, depending upon their backgrounds, $50,000 to $60,000 for meeting 4 times out of the year, once every 3 months for 2 days. So why are we paying these people that? And the job they're doing is just absolutely inefficient, absolutely horrible. And alternatives for Memphis are worse. We've got a clown here, Steve Cohen, in a wheelchair, Jewish, gay, and white, and he represents a 92% black district. And his outstanding contribution when it comes to legislative input is he sponsored a bill making it mandatory to use paper straws in the congressional cafeteria. So he hooked up with a buddy to get him the contract to provide energy to the Memphis utility company that supplies the utilities for the whole county. It's going to be very expensive, and there's a faction that says let TVA do it. There's a faction that says TVA is crooks, and somebody needs to look into that. I'm also into a thing where I'm going to totally restructure the police department so it's run on the model of the Pentagon, where instead of having civilian oversight, which is ineffective, you have civilian management and control. You've got a civilian Secretary of Defense, Army, Navy, Air Force, etc. You need a civilian Director of Police, Subdirector of Homicide, Uniform Patrol, Sex Crimes, Property Crimes, Traffic, Juvenile Matters, all of these kinds of things. You need civilian control of. You need civilian input locally and block-wise for communications. You need programs with juvenile court, or in the alternative, to exclude juvenile court from the process, wherein you take the youth and you have contracts with the parent or parents and the youth, so that in lieu of formal pressing of charges against them, you have counseling periods, so you have rehab therapy, You have vocational training, you have academic training so that they become employable and get their attitudes adjusted. You identify youth who are on the cusp of becoming either thugs, or if you give them the opportunity, rather vigilant leadership. I want to take the Second Amendment and exercise the option that the mayor of the city would have to set up a community-based militia so that you have armed, retired first responders, cops, firemen, veterans, good citizens who are willing to undergo the training once a month and participate in weekly patrols of the neighborhoods to supplant the police, and give citizens an opportunity to get equity in bestowing order and law where they live. That would do something about the violent crime rate. Doing some counseling so we get the youth into doing the man up thing rather than the thug thing, to make up for the fact that they get no home training. We need to deal with involving the unions in vocational training so that instead of getting rivals, you have young apprentices who are dues paying union members and constructive additions to the communities. We need to do things like that. We need to get street cleanup. Some of the judges that are trying to find something to do with the probationers they have doing community service need to be given the opportunities to order some of the convicted felons on probation to go clean up the neighborhoods. We need to do things like that. We need to deal with fixing these damn potholes so people don't get so much car damage. We need to get effective community order. And there's a lot of things that can be done, but you can't do these things if nobody thinks beyond it's my turn now to do what's always been done, when what's always been done is ineffective. So I'm running in 2023. The election will be in October. So our slogan is a vote for me or a vote for Brown is a vote for yourself. Take your town back, send Brown downtown. JJB in 2023 for mayor of Memphis, Tennessee.
We're about the barbecue sauce.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot that. I'm into not only public service, but sauce. So if you want the best damn barbecue sauce you've ever bought, get some Judge Joe Brown barbecue sauce. You can get that right now online at Judge Joe Brown, JJB Barbecue, BBQ, JJB, BBQ.com, and order yourself some. The stuff is delicious. And we have other products that will be available shortly, and we will be on the shelves of major markets and certain major online retail organization that delivers just had me sign an agreement with them to anyway. Check it out, get yourself
Amazon.
You'll like it.
Well, Judge got a lady right here. I think it's a lady, maybe a guy. God bless you, Judge. Please let us get more of the interview. You always say all you have to share is highly welcome. You're a unique man. I've always appreciated that. Outspoken Judge Brown. She said, "Hello, I'm listening from Germany."
Yeah.
Mina Makova.
See, I'm just what they used to call a Renaissance man. Anybody can deal with it. It's just spend more time finding out what's going on in your world than somebody's percentages from the floor in basketball or in football or baseball, and wasting your time on these distractions and deal with your real world. And politics is interesting and exciting if you get into it. Now, join the club Wise up, buck up, stand up, man up.
Well, let me bring up two things before I get out of here. I want to bring this up. You're right about sports, Judge. What's your brother's name? Mr. Pianki. Shout out to him. He sent me a thing, and it was a school down in East St. Louis, I believe, and the math proficiency was like 5%, or it might even be less than that. And the reading was low, but they focus a lot on sports. So if the education is that low, you probably need to get rid of your sports program and get the education.
Yeah. I know that's unpopular, but it's a distraction. See, let's look at something very bad. A set of statistics. And this isn't just black folk, this is everybody in the country. There are more male virgins 25 and under than there are female virgins in America. In other words, the guys ain't getting no pussy, and the girls are getting a whole lot of dick, but from the same few guys. For the last 20 years, on average, only 28% of the high school graduates in America are male. On average, for the last 20 years, only 32% of the undergrad students in four-year universities or colleges in America are male. On average, over the last 20 years, only 36% of the graduate students in public colleges or universities are male. When it comes to the workplace, 3 years ago, this is before COVID even, only 44% of the workforce in America is male. 56% of the workforce is female. And right now, the myth is that men get paid more for doing the same job as women. That's not the case. Right now, the coin is flipped, and women are getting paid more for the same job than guys are. It's getting absolutely pathetic. And the other thing is, I want to see somebody flip this into existence. For 50 years, I've been hearing official take your daughter to work week ads. I have never heard one take your son to work week.
Okay, let me say one more thing. Let me say something, because down here in Richmond Public Schools, they had a thing that went down, and they found out that the standards of learning test was in the 30 to upper 30s to lower 30 percentile. And then the mayor comes out and says that, they told the school board members that firing the superintendent would be wrong. And I'm like, well, why is a mayor standing up for a superintendent when it's, guess who the superintendent is, Judge? His name is Jason Commerce. In 2005, he was George Bush Teacher of the Year. And in 2008, he was Barack Obama's policy educated advisor on education for his campaign.
Pretty weak.
Pretty connecting dots. And Barack Obama had told you that he wanted to rebuild public education, but that is not quite the case.
Was it bathhouse activity, or was it I can understand Bush and Obama leaning the same way since they're biological cousins. But, Obama's maternal granddaddy was first cousins to President George Herbert Walker Bush, so they're related. Most people don't know that. It's all in the family. Also, Dick Cheney's a cousin. I'm not surprised at that, but was it a bathhouse Berry connection? Or was it that got him that position and that acumen? Or was it meritorious? Not, is what it is.
This is the guy. This is the guy I'm talking about, Judge. I'm about to pull him up for you right quick.
I don't know him, but performance. You need to be held to performance. Who is he?
Well, they voted last week to keep him in. They voted 5-4 to keep him as a superintendent, even though the things were low. Oh, let me get out of the way.
And you can't get rid of somebody who's failing at his job? What is that?
They don't want to get rid of it.
Used to be called good old boy stuff.
He just stood up for him, believe it or not. Yeah, teachers stood up for them and stuff like that, and the parents.
Yeah, that's
these people
probably making life easy for them rather than getting them to do what they're supposed to do. I've been a teacher. I was a substitute teacher 50-some years ago to help send myself through law school, and parents were school teachers, but it's not like it used to be.
Well, yeah. And he went to Harvard too, so that's another thing. Right. But check this out.
Hell, I went to UCLA. They tried to recruit me to Harvard Law School. I didn't choose to go. I wanted to stay at UCLA.
He was an education advisor to the 2008 Barack Obama president. He now serves as superintendent of Richmond Public Schools. And he also served as senior rules at District Columbia Public Schools. So he's been moving around a little bit.
Yeah, well, maybe he's moving around too damn much, building a resume instead of a record of achievement.
Yeah, well, I know them test scores are very bad.
Well, look at it. That's what I'm talking about. They don't give a damn. The children don't need to learn cursive writing anymore. They are being told that they don't need to learn their multiplication tables because they've got cell phones. But hell,
Judge,
I just lost
mine. Up in Fairfax County, by DC, they just told them children, you don't have to show your gender or talk about the curriculum to your parents if you don't want to.
Oh, I heard that too. In other words, you're letting children who can't sign contracts, buy tobacco, buy whiskey, they're being able to make these life decisions without embracing the parents. That's so much wrong in that. You see, American law, all the case law, the statutes say what are children entitled to? They're not entitled to the full panoply of rights as citizens because they're too young and immature. What they are entitled to is effective and appropriate discipline and control and custodial care.
Well, that's interesting. So this is what I'm going to do, just to make things whole.
It's a recruitment thing. They're trying to recruit for this abnormality.
Well,
I guess they got to put glasses on their dicks to show what they're supposed to be fucking or something, or put glasses down on the pussy. Hey, you ain't supposed to have another pussy eating this shit. You're supposed to have a dick in it. You know, damn. This is what it looks like. You need glasses? Hey, you can pay for some glasses so you can see the real issue.
Well, Frank, go ahead and shout out the information, brother.
All right, man. Once again, thanks for letting me on, man. Peace to y'all. Judge, it was good talking to y'all, man. But yeah, you could find me, hit me up on YouTube, XX Frank Nitty XX, and then my Instagram is Frank Jones 8115. So yeah, y'all tap in, man. Hit me up.
Go ahead, Chak.
You got to talk about the Little Fortune. It's definitely full in effect. Keep your eyes open and keep your knees together. You can check me at CLE Smooth, CLE Smooth 81 on Instagram.
All right, let me just say, y'all give me a Bernard Johnson Facebook, KingBJMedia.com, and KingBJFitness.com, and Bernard1121 Instagram, and 1987 BJ on Twitter. I got a page up again. They had suspended me a few times. I don't know about Mark Zuckerberg and these guys. Now they're admitting that the FBI pressured them for the election or whatever. So it is what it is. But it's all coming to light now. They starting to view it all. And Judge, go ahead and shout out your information, brother.
You can find me on at Judge Joe Brown TV, and I do not have a blue check. Okay,
that's good.
They won't give me one, but they offer me the commercial thing since some of my stuff has a lot of impressions and hits, but it is what it is. I suppose there's an Instagram thing and a Facebook thing, but I don't use it. I just have it so I can see what's going on there and watch people tell on themselves and post weird looking pictures 5 times a day. So I mean,
I sent you that one. I think that one where they had that commercial with the stranger judge where they told the child, "Don't worry about a stranger. Never use the word pedophile. It can be real insulting."
Damn.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. That's where it's really wild. 35 years ago, that would have landed you in the penitentiary.
No, they trying to say pedophilia
Nowadays,
is they say
trying to do it.
It's a hate crime. They're gonna make it a hate crime to call somebody a pedophile next. Watch.
You know what? A good friend of mine, hell, I used to date her. We dated on and off for a while. She's got a son now in his late 40s. Okay. He bought a nice house in Los Angeles, okay? And he didn't realize that he had gay neighbors. And they came over and wanted him to put a rainbow flag in his front. So he said, So they started bringing their dogs by to shit in his yard, which in California, you got to pick that up, but they weren't. So he started videoing them with sound. And on one day, some strangers brought a very large dog and they walked him right up in the middle of his yard and the dog took a big shit, right? So he yells out his window and said, "Hey, man, pick that up. You know, what the hell's wrong with you? That's against the law." So they called him the N-word. He said, "What?" They called him the N-word again. And he said, "Well, F you, F." He used the F word. So he said it once. They called him the N-word 2 more times each. He said, "Well, hell." And he used the F word again. And these punks run down to the police precinct, the local one, and swear out a warrant against him for hate speech. He gets charged. They both show their tapes, and it's replete with them calling him the N-word. He uses the F word twice, but he gets convicted. 30 days suspended, 250 hours community service, $2,500 fine, 1129 probation, supervised probation, and a requirement that he spend $3,800 out of pocket going to counseling and therapy. So that is absolutely ridiculous. The judge told him apparently that, hey, saying the N-word is nothing wrong. You guys say it to each other all the time. What's hate speech? Well, you guys say that F word that ends in G with each other all the time. So I won't even say it because I know you're having trouble with YouTube, Facebook, and all that other stuff. But see, that's the danger. It destroys the First Amendment, and you know they're dead set on the Second. They've got the targets in there. It's like, okay, this shouldn't exist because we don't like it because we're too punked out to defend ourselves. Somebody's supposed to be taking care of us. We're supposed to be able to act like women and have all the, whatever the hell they think, take care of us. Just doesn't work.
Well,
if you're not willing to deal with the cost of being free, you won't be free. And there's some collateral damage that goes along with it. And then all of these guns they got in Virginia and other places, they're sending the handguns that are interesting and the semi-auto stuff, like I said before, over to Ukraine to arm them. So,
well,
take a lesson.
Well, you've been taking lessons, Judge, and like I said, I surely appreciate you for coming back on and letting us know what's happening with us and about national issues, what's going on with us, why we can't get right, act right, or try to be right somewhere. So thank you for coming on one time, and until next time, man, always a pleasure.
My pleasure, everybody. Good night. I have a dog and I gotta go walk the dog.
All right, man. Take your time.
All right, I'm out of here. I've got to go. This has been Judge Joe. Call me when you can, since I'm the one that ran.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.